You grab your morning coffee, tap your phone against the terminal, and hear that little beep. The whole process takes half a second. It feels incredibly seamless and completely free. To get that coffee, the barista uses water from public pipes, and you likely walked in on a public sidewalk. We rely on this shared foundational infrastructure every single day to make our towns and cities work. But the moment your digital payment goes through, it leaves that public world behind. Your transaction is routed onto an invisible, privately owned toll road. For the privilege of using this road, the corporate gatekeepers operating the network take a small slice of the sale. And they take this cut directly from the local business on almost every single transaction. Because this fee is charged to the merchant, you and I never see it on our receipts. Out of sight, billions of dollars are quietly drawn out of our local economies. We treat tapping our cards like an essential public utility. But by leaving it entirely in private hands, we have surrendered our daily economic infrastructure to a few massive corporations, whose primary goal is extracting a profit. This chart shows the total scheme fees paid by Australian businesses to card networks. In the 2024 to 2025 financial year, that invisible toll reached around $2 billion. Notice how the line representing the fees is climbing much faster than the line showing the actual number of transactions. That $2 billion isn't split among dozens of competitors. Just two companies, Visa and MasterCard, control roughly 85 to 90% of all Australian card transactions. This creates a natural monopoly. A natural monopoly is an economic condition where a company is so dominant, usually due to high setup costs or network size, that it can set the rules without facing any true competition. And those rules are incredibly complex. Currently, there are over 400 different categories of hidden scheme fees. The complexity acts as a smokescreen, making it nearly impossible for a business owner to understand exactly what they are paying for. If you are a giant multinational supermarket, you can negotiate massive rebates to lower these costs. But if you run a local pub or a neighborhood newsagent, you have zero leverage. You simply have to swallow the fees. When two global players control the system and the rules are hidden by hundreds of opaque fees, the smallest, most vulnerable businesses are forced to subsidize corporate profits. Right now, the Australian government is running an inquiry into digital payments to figure out how to manage this very system. But when you look at who is invited to speak, the major banks, the global card networks, and the large tech platforms, the people who profit from the toll road are the ones advising the government on how to regulate it. We have seen what happens when the industry leads the conversation. Recently, a regional banking task force looked into communities losing their local bank branches. Because the task force was dominated by the banks themselves, their final recommendations prioritized commercial profit margins over ensuring people actually had access to banking. A later Senate inquiry took a different approach. They recorded evidence that physical cash and local banking are essential tools for survival during power outages and natural disasters, ensuring people can still buy essentials when digital networks or power grids fail. Allowing the architects of a private system to draft the blueprint for reform ensures the resulting policies protect their rent-extracting core, while the actual harms experienced by everyday users go unaddressed. To fix this, we have to change how we think about the system. Paying for a loaf of bread or a train ticket should be treated as core public infrastructure, not as a byproduct of private corporate competition. This requires two things. First, we need what we can call a ceiling. The government must step in and place strict, enforceable caps on those 400 overlapping scheme fees, pressing down on the costs to stop the constant wealth extraction from local businesses. Second, we need a solid floor. This would be a federally owned public baseline payment system, a network that guarantees everyone can participate in the economy without relying on the profit targets of private companies. In practice, this floor guarantees two things: fee-free access to a basic digital payment system for everyone, and the permanent, protected availability of physical cash. This public floor provides a reliable safety net. When the digital networks go down or the power grid fails in a storm, communities can still buy food, fuel, and supplies because the system is built for resilience. True reform treats the ability to pay for daily life as fundamental infrastructure. It means building a system designed around the public's need to survive, rather than a private platform's incentive to collect a toll.